So you heard me say you don't need a job, you need a skill. And I had someone ask me, well, what if you don't have a skill? And of course, that made me frown on the inside, right? Because of course you have a skill, right? You have a thing that you can do. You probably just don't think it's marketable. You don't think it's worth telling people about. Maybe you don't really believe in it. Maybe you don't think it's like something you can sell to people. But let me tell you something. You have a skill. It's likely the thing that your parents or your friends and family have seen you do, and they're like, oh, that's cute, right? You got your little comedy. You're building your little cabinets. Oh, look at you building your little cabinets, right? And you're like, oh man, well, if they're reacting like that, this must not be a good thing. Okay, let's talk about that. Maybe your cabinets don't have a bunch of 90-degree angles yet. Maybe they're a little rough around the edges. Maybe your stand-up comedy could use some work. Maybe your photography got your thumb in it and all the pictures, right? But that's the thing. You can practice and get better. Like, you can always get better at these things, right? It's just a lot of times the people you confide in and you share your talents with and your gifts with, they're comparing you to the most professional version of that thing that they know. So if you like singing and you want to be a singer, well, they're going to compare you to like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion and say, oh yeah, you're nowhere near that. Well, no, you're not. You're not. Of course you're not. You just started. You just started doing this seriously. It's been a hobby or something you do on the side. Of course you're not at that level. Those people have gone through years of professional study and vocal training to get to that point, right? Some of these master cabinet builders have apprenticed under other master cabinet builders. You haven't had that experience. You're just starting. So don't put yourself at that level, and don't put that pressure on yourself to be where they are, right? The more important thing is to recognize that you're going to start now and get better, right? Like I said, I did video production, which basically means I went out with my camera and my lights, and then I shot the project, and then I came home and edited it, right? Lighting, filming, editing. All three of those things I wasn't terribly good at when I started. I was probably the best at the camera stuff. It was easy for me to like compose things on camera. That was probably my strongest strength out of the three. But it doesn't mean that I was good at all three. For me to sell my work and get hired professionally, I had to get all three of those things to a minimally professional level. A minimal professional level, right? Where I can at least compete and charge for these services. But it didn't start that way. For me, I just wanted to get my little, I had comedy sketches I did with my friends, and I wanted those to look good. And so initially the desire to get better at that was to make the comedy and the vision I had in my mind look closer to what I was actually filming. So if the lighting was bad or the audio was bad, I wanted it to be better the next time, right? And that's really what I want y'all to do. Just think about making what you do a little better. If it's singing, get into like singing lessons. If you're doing cabinet work, watch some videos on YouTube, practice more, like get better at the skill that you're good at, right? And don't listen to people who tell you you can't do this for a living, right? Everyone can do some level of something at a living if you just practice at it. You may not be good right now, but you'll get better, right? But the talent you have for it and your enthusiasm over it is what drives you to want to know more and get better, okay? So if someone's told you, if you've ever been paid for something, or if you do something and you really like it, don't let other people stop you from doing that thing, okay? Right? If you've ever received money for something, that's a start. That's a good clue as to what your skill is. But even if you've never received money from it and you're good at it, and there's somebody in your life that says, hey, that's a really good job on this thing you did, this thing you created, this thing you designed, this thing you drew, or that performance where you sang, whatever. Start there, right? Now, that being said, I'm not suggesting every skill is great. If it's illegal or involves you being on a pole somewhere, then maybe don't do that, right? If you do, hey, that's none of my business. But I'm wanting you to figure something out that you can do for a long time, multiple decades, multiple years. So all I'm saying is, don't nobody want to see an old stripper. I don't know too many old drug dealers, for obvious reasons. So try to find something that you can grow with that will stay with you a long time. So I've been doing video for a long time, and I still learn from it. I'm still doing things with it. Like the job I have right now doesn't really employ it, but here I am on YouTube using those same principles, right? The reason I parked my car in this way is because the light was hitting me from a certain direction and I can see it, and I still use all those things that I learned. So nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted, right? That passion you had in 3rd grade, you could probably pull it back and still do it, okay? So trust me, you have a skill. It's just develop it. Take the classes, find some group, find some way to practice that skill. It's probably cheap. But again, do not go to college. Do not get in debt developing this skill. Just get in an environment where you can practice very cheaply, very inexpensively. Acting classes. Don't get the most expensive ones. Just practice your craft. See if you can actually do the thing that you're practicing. So not only do class, but find a way to actually practice outside of class and get better. And that's all you need, okay? All right.